Hi, this is Mrs. Rodriguez with another lesson video, this time on finding the distance between two numbers. Now in class you're going to do that in your this first problem in your breakout room, but let's take a look at it together. It says, how many miles apart is Jason's friend's house and the school? So we're looking at the distance, okay? So if I'm looking at this and we want to know from Jason's friend's house, which is right here at mile 4, and the school, which is right here at -8, and I want to know the distance between them, what I would do is, here's my -8, here's my 4, and I would just count how many spaces or how far apart these two places are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So they're 12 apart. Okay, so that would be 12 miles. All right, let's continue. Now, before we get into some examples for today, we need to look at vocabulary. So the first thing you need to know is that the difference means subtract. Remember, if we don't know what words mean, we're not going to know how to answer questions. So it's important that we understand what the words mean. Absolute value. Remember, the absolute value is the distance from 0. The distance from 0. And last but not least, you need to know that finding the distance is the same thing as finding the difference, meaning the distances between two numbers is the same thing as subtracting those two numbers. So let's take a look at this problem above. We had the friend's house, okay, so the friend's house was at 4, and the school equaled -8. Now remember, I always say there's more than one way to do a problem. So the first way I demonstrated was using the number line, finding out how many spaces are in between, because we're looking at distance. But now we just learned that finding the distance equals finding the difference, which means to subtract. So 4 minus a -8 should give us the same answer. So remember, if we have subtraction, we're going to change it to addition and change the sign of the second number to its opposite sign. In this case, the 8 is negative, so the 8 becomes positive. Now we go ahead and add. 4 plus 8, is equal to 12. Okay, so we follow the rules that we use for adding integers once we turn it into an addition problem. Okay, so it equals 12. Moving on. Here's example 1. Find the distance between -5 and 5. Okay, so that means we're taking -5 and we're subtracting 5 positives. So the first way I'm going to show you is converting it to an addition problem and taking the absolute value. And remember, the absolute value is the distance from 0, and it is always positive. Okay? And remember, distance is always positive because we would never say, oh, I drove down to Sacramento -35 miles away. It would just be 35 miles away. So distance is always positive, so the absolute value is always positive. So the first way I'm going to show you is numerically. So we have the absolute value, but we need to do the inside first. So we have a -5 minus 5. We're going to change that to an addition problem by making -5. We're going to change that minus sign into a positive, and we're going to change the sign of the second number. In this case, the second number is a +5, so now it will become a -5. Now that it's an integer or an addition problem, we can follow the rules of adding integers. The signs are the same, they're both negative, so we add them together Okay, so we add them together and keep the sign. So 5 plus 5 is 10. We keep the sign, and there's our negative. So it's going to be negative 10. Now, the other way we could do this is on the number line. We have, oops, but we're not done, sorry. It's negative 10. Now that we have that, we need to take the absolute value. I almost forgot the most important part. So remember, these lines on either side of the 5 mean absolute value. Okay, and the absolute value is always positive, so that means our answer is going to be positive 10. Okay, now let me show you on the number line. We have negative 5, that's going to be here, and we have positive 5, that's going to be here. We're finding the distance between them. Okay, so how many spaces are between them? So you could subtract numerically like we did above, or you could count the spaces. So let's count it. Let me choose a different color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And once again, it equals 10. And it's going to be positive because it's distance. All right, let's try B. B says you have the absolute value of 1 minus 6. We're looking for the distance between 1 and 6. So first I'm going to show you numerically. Let me choose a new color. Let me go ahead and divide the page so we don't get confused. All right, so remember we have to do the inside first. So we have 1 minus 6. We're going to change that to an addition problem by changing the subtraction to addition and changing the sign of the second number. So now that 6 was positive, so now it's going to be negative. The signs are different, so you need to remember when adding integers, if the signs are different, we subtract and take the sign of the bigger number. So 6 minus 1 is 5. And the bigger number is 6, and it's negative, so our answer is going to be negative 5. Okay, so now I can go ahead and take the absolute value of negative 5. And remember, absolute value is always positive because it's distance, and we get an answer of positive 5. Now let's see it on the number line. So on the number line, we have positive 1, and we have 6. We want the distance between the two. So if I count it out, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5 spaces in between. Distance is always positive, so our answer is 5. Now it's your turn. Go ahead and try to do A, B, C, and D. Pause the video. When you're done solving them, restart the video to see if you got the right answer. Go ahead and pause the video now. All right, welcome back. So let's take a look at these. The first one is 9 minus 4. So if I have 9 and I have 4 and I count the spaces in between, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I get positive 5. For 8 minus 9, I have 8, I have 9. There's only one space in between, so my answer is positive 1. For C, I have positive 5 and negative 2. Remember, you will know if the number is negative, if that second number is negative, because you'll see a double number or a double negative sign. So we want to know the spaces in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 7 in between, so my answer is going to equal positive 7. And last but not least, we have negative 4 and negative 1. So here's my negative 4, here's my negative 1. I want the spaces in between. 1, 2, 3. So that means my answer is going to be a positive 3. Okay? And as always, if you have any questions or need assistance with anything else, please feel free to come up to office hours. Bye!